witchking.com. We are taking a look at a sword by Kit Rae. Another phenomenal sword, limited edition of 300 only made. Kit Rae is my absolute favorite sword designer, swordsmith, and a phenomenal artist. He's been around for a long time and has made his Swords of the Ancients collection, and in my opinion, the most unique and artistic swords crafted by anyone. Anyhow, this one is the Vorenthul Gold. The Vorenthul Gold limited edition again of 300. And we'll take a look. There's the insignia. If I can get that in there. There it is. Alright, well, let me angle it, get the lighting different so you can see it better. There it is. This is number 98 out of 300, as you see there. But this gold version is just beautiful, for lack of a better word. I love the way this guard has two separate pieces. You see these two claws that sort of spike out from the hilt there, the grip. And the engraving, really deep, nice engravings with that sort of vine appearance. And yes, it is a tempered stainless. And so, it's not hard carbon steel, but the quality is top notch and the blade is thick. This is not going to crack on you. I've actually sharpened a couple of pieces on my bench grinder by Kit Rae, and it holds a fantastic edge, regardless of what people will say about stainless. It will hold a fantastic edge, and being this thick, it's not going to crack on you if you're cutting off some zombie heads or whatever you want to do. Anyhow, that claw down there at the bottom, that is another piece of perfection. And it does have two pins, one here, so the tang does extend the length of the hilt. But yeah, you cannot tell me that gold and red just does not look stunning. And you can see how thick the blade is there. It has a nice thickness, but I'm still able to hold it with one hand fairly easily. But these repeating claw-like features is what I like about it the best, especially this dual portion there. And the engravings on both sides. And Kit Rae always liked to test the boundaries with his swords, so this one absolutely tests the boundaries. I mean, you can see the way he did the swooping shape of the main blade there and attached to the rest. That's incredibly unique. And then this spine on top there. And again, the thickness is less than 5 millimeters. I'm not sure how thick that is, but it has a good thickness. But look how detailed that guard is. That's pretty flawless. That's up close. Leather wrapped pommel. That is a thing of beauty. Anyhow, it comes with a poster. I'm keeping mine in the plastic until ready to frame it. And his box. I did another version. There's his standard, I think it's the signature version, I believe is what he calls it. But it's the same box for both, but this one does say the limited edition gold. That is a good looking sword. And again, incredibly unique. Some people may not like the design. I personally think it's pushing boundaries and phenomenal. I love the way the main blade just swoops off of the mainstay of the sword itself. And again, the repeating motifs with the claws, angles, claws, and that red being my favorite color. So, and he does have these universal display plaques you can buy separately. It works for pretty much all of his pieces. So if you want to hang it on the wall, which I recommend, of course. These sold out quite some time ago, being that limited, which only 300. It's not very many. And like I said, Kit Rae is definitely a master designer, artist, swordsmith. He has done some very limited edition high carbon Damascus steel pieces, but those he only made 100 of each. Golds he sticks with about 300. Again, this one is. He's done some other variations, but I've always liked his style, uniqueness. Designs. And his swords feel good in the hand. I mean, he's gotten better and better as time goes on. Unfortunately, he's not making a swords of the ancients this year. I'd like to see more pieces come out. And I'd like to see his fans group together and really take his work to the next level and get him to make another piece. I'd like to see one every year, of course. There's a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of design aspects. And not everyone appreciates a phenomenal sword, unique sword design. I'm a sword fan of all types. Katanas, traditionals, medievals, fantasy, movie swords like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, etc. And classics like Conan's Atlantean. But again, my favorites design-wise always come down to Kit Rae. And it's just beautiful. And again, you can just feel the quality. It is incredible quality. And I can hold that, even though it is thick. That's a lot of steel. I can hold that in my hand quite nicely. And it's got his other insignia on the back there. That is really impressive. So, and again, if you wanted to sharpen yours, there's nothing wrong with making your blade razor sharp. I'm going to take this one to my bench grinder and finish it off with sharpening stones. Of course, I'll make sure it doesn't get too hot to alter the tempering. It's not classified as being functional, but I love a good, clean, sharp edge on my swords. And this has no problem with the thickness, in my opinion. I'm very familiar with the tempering process and high carbon steels and rusting with the high carbon steels, whereas this will stand the test of time. No rust, of course. I mean, it's not going to be a whippy sword like a spring steel high carbon that'll rust on you if you leave it out in the open or touch it. I've had high carbon steel swords where somebody touched the blade and you can see a week later oxidation come to play. And that's on top of using Renaissance wax. Oils, too much maintenance. This, nothing needed. Stays a work of art. If you have this hanging on your wall and it's razor sharp and you got a zombie attack on your homestead, this will take off some zombie heads. Good stuff. Alright, that's long enough. Spent a lot of time on this blade. Kit Rae. I'll do more of his pieces later. Vorenthul Gold. Limited edition 300. Phenomenal bladesmith, swordsmith, artist, and all-round master with steel. Crom would be proud, Riddle Steel would be answered. And there you have it. WitchKing.com.